shift from engineering background to MBA, that also banking and finance it's certainly difficult. I still remember those days wherein we had a particular subject on accounting. I'm sure the subjects have now changed significantly. So the engineering graduates can look around and look at the commerce graduates. These are the guys who laughed at us. Why? Because we were asking stupid questions. Some of these certifications are helpful, number one, for knowledge building. So many times we see that, oh, I got a CFA certification, I'll end up getting a job. The answer is no. Just because by doing an FRM or a CFA or a CISA or any of those programs, you're not going to get a job. Only thing that's going to help you is it's going to build knowledge for you. And if it adds knowledge to you, then somebody who's recruiting will say that, okay, this person is hireable.
So Koshy, we'll start with your introduction. Since you have a wealth of experience, why don't we start with how you started, and then slowly how NIBM happened, and then how did you go ahead about your career and reach where you are right now?
So as Saif mentioned, I am an alumn of NIBM. It's called as National Institute of Bank Management, as you can see. At least in my case, NIBM is kind of played a big transformational aspect in my career or my journey. And you would also see that I'm not a commerce graduate. I did my engineering and then I moved into MBA. So it's a bit of transformational journey for me from NIBM standpoint. And I just start, when I joined in NIBM at that point in time, we can't foresee future, right? Where we're going to end up. And as Steve Jobs also said, you won't be able to connect the dots forward. You'll always be able to connect the dots backward, right? Now, after 18 years of experience, now I can see why things happened in a particular way, how things happened to me, where I am today, what is the journey. Now, again, I'm not able to connect the dots forward. While sitting here today, I can look back at 18 years, what has happened to me, right? I belong to a place called Chenganur in Kerala. And I did my schooling till 12th in Kerala. And after that, I did my graduation in Pune. After that, I worked with a company called HT Media for a year. Then because of some family reason, I had to go back home, stayed at home for 2 years. And then I did my MBA from NIBM. And then I got campus placed into SBI. There I was there for 5 years, and I joined a company called KPMG. I was there in KPMG for, again, 10 years. And I moved to PwC recently. So it's only been 1 month since I moved into PwC. That's the kind of journey I had, till now.
Awesome. So there's a lot to unpack there. But I'll first start with, how did your shift from engineering to finance happen?
So if, after my engineering, if somebody would have asked me, are you going to end up in banking or maybe consulting, I would have said, I would have laughed at them, right? I mean, because after doing engineering, you're not even going to think about doing something different from engineering. But while I was doing, after my engineering, and I got placed and I was doing my job, what I realized that as an engineer, most of the decisions that you make are ending up on either a process improvement or maybe something that you improve on a machine. But I thought maybe I should go slightly beyond. I should be able to manage people. I should be able to make some difference to the economy at large, so on and so forth. That's where it came to my mind saying, there's not enough, maybe I need to do something more. And I ended up, getting into MBA in a college. But again, if you ask me, was I clear about where I want to get into? I was not clear, to be honest, right? And I come in from that age group where the information was not as available as you all have. There was no inside IIM shows that happen when people come in and talk to you about what can be done. We still used to rely on our parents and friends, right? They are the ones who will tell you what is that is good for you. Right? I believe that's still the case, but so even in my case, I remember after I did my engineering, maybe in 6 months' time when I went back home, I remember my dad showing a paper cutting, saying that, see this particular paper cutting, it's about a college, which is there in Pune, which takes a lot of sessions for bankers. It's basically a institute for enhancing or upskilling the bankers. So it was altogether a different kind of institute which was there. And I was also told it's set up by RBI. So then again, it's got a bit of a very strong backing. So again, there's a backing of RBI, so on and so forth. We left it there because it was still 2005. And then after that, a lot of things happened with me. 2.5 years later, when I actually appeared for CAT, and finally I was deciding on colleges, again NIBM came as one of our top consideration for us because of multiple reasons, and finally I ended up in NIBM.
All right. So since after engineering you got into MBA, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Correct. So when you got into MBA, did you feel that this is a sudden domain change because you are specializing, you're getting into a domain that you did not do your graduation in? Right. So how was that initial days for you, and what were some probably things that you had to do to adjust and compete with other B school students?
That's a good point. Shift from engineering background to MBA, that also banking and finance it's certainly difficult. I still remember those days wherein we had a particular subject on accounting. I'm sure the subjects have now changed significantly. But who all are engineers here? Any engineers sitting here? Wow, lovely. How many commerce graduates? Brilliant. So the engineering graduates can look around and look at the commerce graduates. These are the guys who laughed at us. Why? Because we were asking stupid questions. So we used to be like asking questions like, or maybe if a question comes saying which asset or liability in a balance sheet, which one is bigger? Engineers, can anyone answer this? Assets or liabilities, which one is bigger in a balance sheet? Assets? Any commerce graduates can give the answer? Now I'm doubting the commerce graduates also. all answers seems to, all of you are my dear friends then. When you look at a balance sheet, assets and liabilities always match, right? So we used to be asked this question saying asset and liability, which one is bigger? We used to always say assets, of course, that's the money you're going to get, right? But the truth is asset and liabilities match in a balance sheet, right? So we used to give such kind of answers in class. So there was a professor who used to take accounts class, and he was feeling sad for us. And he offered saying, I am going to do a special session for all of you so that you don't end up asking the same set of questions. And that is so nice about them because we're thinking beyond the class, right? And they realize that there's a small set of group in the class who are facing problem with a particular topic, and I would want to help them. So that's a kind of support we had, at least from the institute at that point in time. And trust me, it was difficult. And NIBM played the role of being a bridge from what I was to what I want to be, or what I could become. So they played a significant role there. And trust me, whenever you are in any kind of such programs, the most important factor is your faculty, and the second one is the colleagues you have, how supportive they are, right? Maybe the smiling I spoke about was only there for the initial 1 month. After that, they realized who we are. So then they started helping. It became much of a bond then. And then over a period of our course, we started becoming really good friends, and each one used to support each other. So it was really good time there in the campus. And it was, I would say, the transition, while it was difficult at the beginning, by the end of it made our, it was really helpful for all of us.
Did you get campus placed?
Yeah.
And what kind of a job did you get into after graduation? And from there, what was your North Star, and how did you kind of pave your way forward?
See, I mean, that's a good point. And, one of the points that keeps coming into my mind is 2008 and 2009. 2008 and 2009 is when I, passed out from NIBM. And do you all know what happened in 2008? Something big happened, just like COVID. Worse than COVID. Why worse than COVID? So it affected stock market, number one. What else? People started losing jobs. There were no jobs. People were asked to go, right? And what are we? We are studying MBA, all suit booted, getting into the market. So you're going to get a job. We're in bad shape, right? 2008 to 2009, till we got placed, it was a time wherein we were like really, sorry if I use the word shit, scared, right? Very bad. It was a very bad situation. And we had people losing their cool in our class. Because when we got into the college, we got it with the mindset saying that everybody is going to get placed because it's backed by RBI. jobs in banking and finance, absolutely no problem. People started losing it. They started saying, oh, look at what is happening outside. I'm sure we are not going to get placed, so on and so forth. 2009, when the campus placement started, we all got placed. 100% placement happened at that particular year, which was not the case with many colleges at that point in time. So that still remains as a standout moment for all of us. I got placed into SBI at that point in time. We used to have all good companies coming in at that point in time. SBI is one of the top recruiter at that point in time, although it is a public sector bank. Please don't take anything against your service delivery issues at SBI against me. But as an institute, it's one of the best institute. You get to learn so many things when you get to that particular institute. It's huge. It's got years and years of legacy which is built, right? So that's where we got placed into. So I always keep in mind, when we also got into SBI, we had people sitting next to us who were from IIM. What happened to them? They would have never considered an SBI for a job. Because that was in a year when they were also not getting placed. Some of the brilliant minds from IIM also had to come into an institute like SBI, sitting next to us. So I always have this in my mind. If it's banking and finance, NIBM is the IIM.
Awesome. And speaking of adaptability, you also completed your CFA level 3, right? So at what point in your life did you decide to do that? And in finance, do you think it's required for you to have certain certifications in order for you to get a better job?
The way I see it is that some of these certifications are helpful, number one, for knowledge building. So many times we see that, oh, I got a CFA certification, I'll end up getting a job. The answer is no. Just because by doing an FRM or a CFA or a CISA or any of those programs, you're not going to get a job. Only thing that's going to help you is it's going to build knowledge for you. And if it adds knowledge to you, then somebody who's recruiting will say that, okay, this person is hireable. But think about, you got a certificate, but you're not deployable or you're not able to do that job, there's no point, right? So if it's for the purpose of knowledge building and aligns with what you want to do, please do it. If that's not the case, please don't do it. Also, the second point I feel is that it is always better to do certifications at the early stage. Some of these large programs, it is better to do at an early stage while you're still connected to the studies. Because after you come in, there are enough and more programs for you to do. Even today, if you look at, in our professions, we keep talking to people saying that you need to do something on AI, you need to do something on data analytics, you need to keep doing something on technology, because these are things which are changing. And you can't be continuing saying, oh, I've done my MBA, I'm done, not going to study anything more. That's not going to be acceptable in current situations, right? Early it would have been okay, but now it is big no-no. So you'll have to keep on upskilling, learning, so on and so forth as you go forward. Specifically in case of CFA, I must say, if you've got liking in investment management, portfolio management, if you want to end up in that kind of role, then it makes sense. If that's not the case, it will not make much of sense. In my case, I work with a lot of large global banks. And in that context, it helps in at least having conversations with them. That's the reason why even I pursued something like that.
Okay, since we're talking about moving forward and being relevant with and upskilling also, what are some of the changes you see in banking and financial services landscape that you think is lucrative for MBA students to pursue that career so that when they graduate, they can probably get into those sectors and get good jobs?
Yeah. Today, when I look at banking, again, banking as a sector is changing. Any examples of change that you all see?
Anything?
Brilliant. Gone are the days when you go to a branch bank, right? Nobody is going. We don't go to a bank branch anymore. Maximum we go is to an ATM. That also we have stopped. I guess after demand now we are saying, after demand and COVID we are saying UPI to have. What is the point in going to a branch or an ATM, right? So what has happened? There is a digital transformation that has happened. So gone are the days where you will have clunky, maybe people are not very, a gloomy looking branch officer sitting and giving you money or take your money and go. Vis-a-vis you doing UPI transactions on your fingertips, right? So transformation is huge, right? That is point one. Second one, you would see that there is a lot of customization, personalization that is happening. In our terminology, we call it as hyper-personalization. People want to have minimum number of touch points to do their transactions. Right? So there are a lot of, I come in from Bangalore, so in Bangalore there are many players who are trying to solve the problem. I don't want to have 2 touches for the customer to make a transaction, I just want 1 touch. Some are saying, I don't even want to touch. Somebody says money, the money goes. Yeah, so that's a kind of change. It's hyper-personalization, minimal touch kind of mode that is happening. All of this is leading to a lot of data, right? Because everything is digital, there are digital footprints in everything that you are doing. And because of that, there is a lot of demand for doing data analytics. Based on data analytics, you'll have to predict how the customer is going to behave. Based on that behavior, you will have to provide solutions to the customer. That's again a big theme that is coming in. Because of these changes that are happening, either digital transformation, creation of so much of data, there's a lot of demand for people who understand risks. There used to be a point saying people need to focus on credit and market risk. I don't know whether you're familiar with that topic. Credit risk is something when you give money to somebody, whether that person is going to pay back the money. That is credit risk, right? I gave money, whether they're going to give back. And the market is basically I give and put money somewhere, but is the value going to remain the same? Right? You put money in stock market went down, huge market risk, right? But the most prominent these days people talk about is non-financial risk, which is basically anything to do with operational risk, where it could be because of people, it could be because of systems, or it could be because of processes which are there. That's a huge topic which is there. And some of the themes that come in are cybersecurity, ESG as a theme, right? People are trying to build a lot of things. That's the second theme which is coming. And now, because of Gen AI coming in, there is a question around governance, who is using the data, how it is being done, how it is being processed, so on and so forth. So non-financial risk is a big theme which is coming in the entire, this particular world. So when you are preparing yourself for as you get into your MBA and future, while a basic MBA will help you get a footing to go somewhere, focusing on these additional aspects are going to be equally, if not more important. You can't have a person who don't understand data. You can't have a person who don't understand AI. Because today, for example, in our organization, we are using our internalized Gen AI model to provide solutions to our customers. Now think about it. If people are not familiar with that, how are they going to use it? Yeah. So that's the way things are changing. I'm not scaring all of you, but I'm saying you need to be adept with the changes that are happening and align yourself with that. No more, I don't think so, doing something generalist is going to help you, but generalist plus is what is going to help you as you go forward.
Okay, guys, do you have any questions so far? Okay, we have one hand over there. Can we have one more microphone, please?
Hello, sir. There is always a debate about switching roles add on to your growth. So, what were the challenges you faced from a financial role to a consulting role?
Oh yeah, that's still a nightmare for me, by the way. The initial 6 months when I moved in from banking to consulting, I didn't know what is happening around me. The same way I said the commerce graduates laughed at the engineering graduates, it was even worse the first 6 months, because the guys who were already working in consulting used to look at me saying, who is this alien who has come in? He doesn't know how we operate. It happens everywhere, right? You get into a college, you will experience it, isn't it? You come from South Bombay, you come from, there's a difference, isn't it? Or you come from commerce, or you come from engineering. There's a difference, right? Similar to that, when you move from banking or a banking job into consulting, you would face huge problems for 6 months. That's why I keep saying that you need to be really patient. You need to still believe in the process. You need to have a lot of hard work and perseverance. You know why people are behaving with you in a particular way. If you understand it, then you will succeed. If you say that, oh, that person is behaving within a particular manner because of maybe his ego, it doesn't work like that. There is a particular reason why human beings behave in a particular manner to the other person. If you are able to crack it, you will succeed. In my case, I was not fast enough. I was not able to understand what client problems are. I was not able to quickly move from one client to another. These were my genuine problems. I gave it 6 months time, 1 year time, I was being able to change myself, adapt myself, and then be aligned with that particular requirement. That happens everywhere. Think about you being in banking, change role from one to another, the same thing is going to happen. Think about you moving house from A place to B place. You're going to face the same problem. Maybe the housemaid may not like you. Right? Things can happen. Keep patience. be adaptable, show a lot of perseverance, you will be successful.
Good morning, Mr. Koshy. Good morning, everyone. So I had a question to ask you. I have completed my MBA from a non-IIM college. I have 6 years work experience in financial management. I would like to know your opinion that if I want to move from if I want to pursue a consulting opportunity, do I need to complete MBA from a top tier institute?
Many people who work in our consulting teams may not even have done an MBA. Sorry, I know all of you would have come for MBA programs, but the point I'm trying to make is that while these programs help you, you need to transform as an individual. As I said, when you become an MBA graduate, by the end of it, you need to see difference in how you're behaving, how we are working. And second thing, in consulting, is it aligned to your goals again? Just because my friend has gone for consulting doesn't mean you need to get up into consulting. It's not required. The other important topic, right? People talk about work-life balance. Some people who moving from banking to consulting may end up saying, boss, what the hell? These guys are working throughout. There is no work-life balance only. Why it is happening? It's either because you are not aligned with the goals of what you're getting into. If you're aligned with that particular goal, trust me, you will not end up complaining about it. Think about our great cricketers, right? Who would have been practicing from morning till night, score big hundreds for us. And it's only after all the work they put in the background, right? So number one, that alignment has to be there. And for you to get into consulting, number one, think about whether you're aligned to that particular goal, whether you want to get into that personally, not because XYZ has gone into consulting. And second thing is, are you ready for that particular role? If you're still not ready for that role, what else you need to do further? Right? Some of these programs I told by way of certification will certainly help you. And also consulting doesn't mean you need to get into a strat firm. Consulting also has got different levels to it. Everybody need not be maybe working in a McKinsey or a BCG. There is big fours again into consulting. There are non-big four entities which are there. There are, small boutique consulting firms which are there. You can get into any of them. End of the day, you are in consulting. Just look at what is your sweet spot and get in there. If you don't find happiness, then don't settle, keep moving.
All clear? Awesome. Okay, since Koshy, you spoke a lot about connecting dots in retrospect. So when I'm sure you are missing your B school days now after looking at the students here. So in retrospect, what are some of the things that you think you could have done maybe more to have a better B school experience? I'm not talking about academic or anything related to that, just overall B school experience in general.
I actually envy a lot with the team that has come in from our college, the current batch. I was telling them the same thing, that when I was in the college, we never had the kind of programs they are part of, right? I mean, collaborating with inside IIM, conducting large-scale shows, like there is something called as Adikosh that happens, which is basically on a fest that happens. The Alumn fest that happens is at a bigger scale. There are programs when almost every week there are people coming in from industry and talking. Those kind of things we never had. Because we are initial batches of NIBM on this particular program, which is the MBA program. So that's a big thing that we missed at that point in time. But I'm very happy to see that happening right now in a big way. And certainly as a campus, I don't know, you got a chance to even look it up online, please do it. I've gone to many campuses. That's one of the finest campuses by way of the greenery it has. It's as good as they have set up the campus within a forest. You got sandalwood trees there. You got huge gardens. You got peacocks running around. It's an amazing campus, right? So you will fall in love with the place. And typically for academics, you will see that if you got such kind of an environment, it helps you. Yeah. So as a campus, I found the campus to be amazing. I felt if I was able to spend more time in the campus, it would have been great. Something that I miss, as you rightly said. I mean, those late night chai making within the hostel, late night talks. The campus has got huge space to walk around, late night badmintons. All of that is something I keep missing. Whenever we all meet together as, my colleagues and my friends, we all talk about the same thing even today.
Awesome. And do you get to interact with young professionals often in your career right now?
I mean, I was telling, right? I mean, I recently moved from KPMG to PwC. And the moment I joined PwC, I get messages on our internal chat saying, hi Koshy, nice to see you here. We are your batch of 2016, 15, 14. So internally, I see that a lot of people already there within multiple institutes at this point in time. And another good thing that I'm seeing is that in a limited time of close to 20 years, the institute has been able to place people across all large financial institutions, either at mid or senior level. Now you think about the benefit it has, right? I mean, if you got, for example, the ex-CFO of IDBI Bank was NIBM, Paytm Bank CEO is from NIBM. So there are multiple institutes where you've got quite senior people already working there. And because of that, the alum connect is very strong now. You can see a lot of people coming back to the campus, talking, trying to give it back to the campus, and college is something I keep seeing right now.
Lovely. And on a closing note, do you have any advice for them? Because they'll be now going to the B school. Do you have any final piece of advice for them so that they can, maybe avoid mistakes that you see some youngsters doing?
Yeah. Number one, I feel very important is that all candidates who are getting into an MBA should be ready to be adaptable. And that's what I've changed. When change happens, and that's a constant thing that keeps happening these days, you should be able to adapt to it well. Small things, but big impact, right? For example, when I say I moved from banking to consulting, the change was huge. I had to adapt. But staying within the same entity, if the change happens, are you adapting? An example I'll give, most of the banks, if you look at, are undergoing transformations. There are new tech systems that are getting implemented. I keep seeing people resisting to that change. I don't know for what reason, but change is needed. You are making that change to make it faster. Unless you adapt to that change, you're not going to be successful. You wouldn't want to be seen as somebody who's resisting change. Yeah. So number one, most important, you should be able to adapt to changes. Second thing I keep talking is about your ability to communicate and network. I don't see a solution to that other than actually doing it. Practically, you need to be there, networking, internal, external, clients, entities, you need to be there. That's second thing which is important. Third thing important is going to be on upskilling. If you just do an MBA, it's not going to be enough. You need to understand where the change is coming from and align yourself with relevant programs with the purpose of learning. Don't do a program and then update on LinkedIn saying that, oh, I put the program updated on LinkedIn, no jobs coming. It's not going to come. When you go and talk to somebody, you should be able to talk sense, right? That's why that learning thing becomes extremely important. That's equally applicable for leaders also. If the leader is not learning, he'll not be able to guide the team that is below. So as you go up the ladder, keep that in mind. These are life lessons you need to have, at least in the current situation scheme of things which are there. Another important thing I believe, along with adapting, learning, all of that, is also going to be patience and perseverance. Don't allow failure to impact you. Make sure that even if there are failures, it doesn't matter. As we keep saying, right, it doesn't matter, you don't get an IIM institute, it's okay, there are enough and more available. Yeah, so you need to be prepared for that, right? Second thing is that everybody's journey is going to be different. Please don't compare between your peer. You got your own sweet spot, you will find it. It doesn't matter, I become a consultant means you need to be a consultant. It doesn't matter. You can do well. I mean, look at him, he's doing a wonderful job doing the programs, or the team is doing a wonderful job doing the program. Enough and more avenues available. So don't say, I want to be a risk consultant because Koshy came and said that consulting is fast paced, it's fun, it doesn't matter. You can find your sweet spot, stick to that, and you will be successful. And again, I like Steve Jobs. Again, he keeps saying the same fact, saying that you will only be able to enjoy, or you will be able to find satisfaction only if you enjoy what you're doing. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you will always be in fight with that. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Get into something that you will enjoy, aligned to your personal skill set, is going to be extremely important. I'll stop there. Too much of gyan for a Saturday morning.
No, Koshy, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming all the way to Bangalore and doing this with us. Guys, please let's have a huge round of applause for Mr. Koshy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.